everyone. I welcome you all to today's session of HIT series, that is High Impact Topic Series. And today in this session we are going to discuss need of Indian diaspora policy. So India needs a diaspora policy, and this statement has been made in criticism of the government by a parliamentary committee. We shall be covering this particular topic in the following sequence: why it is in news, what is diaspora all about, then we shall be looking at Indian diaspora and the parliamentary committee's report, followed by the practice question for prelims and mains examination. Now, without further ado, let's begin with our discussion. Why in news? So a parliamentary committee, as I've told you already, on Wednesday has criticized the government over the absence of a clear-cut policy on engaging with the Indian diaspora and recommended that bringing out a document to serve as a guiding principle for deeper and wider connection with the community. In fact, the Parliamentary Committee has given a 55-point recommendation list to the government. So, if we are talking about diaspora, it becomes crucial to understand what diaspora is all about. What does this word mean? Let's get to that. The term diaspora originated from the Greek term diasporain, which translates to dispersion. So people dispersing out from the country of origin, from the home country to the outside world. The phrase expanded over time and now broadly refers to anyone who is a citizen of a certain country and shares a common ancestry or culture but is residing beyond their homeland for a variety of reasons. For example, in the present day scenario, it could be employment, education, the family resides over there, so that person has shifted over there, and so on. In India, the term diaspora refers to non-resident Indians, NRIs, PIOs and OCIs, that is, persons of Indian origin and overseas citizen of India. The latter, that is OCI and PIO, are now being considered as one under OCI itself since 2015. So during the British administration, vast number of Indians migrated as indentured labor to former colonies such as Fiji, Kenya and Malaysia. Now that they are not citizens of India, like NRIs, so NRIs, I hope you all know, they are citizens of India. The citizenry they have, the passport they hold is that of India. But they are living somewhere else for the purpose of education or employment. Mostly employment. Fine. So, but these people who have shifted long time ago, they still are persons of Indian origin. Their roots lie in India. But for generations right now, they are living somewhere else. Even these people form the part of our diaspora. So it continued. What continued? The migration continued post-independence as well, with Indians of various social classes migrating to countries such as United Kingdom, the United States and Gulf countries for the reasons I have already discussed with you all. So let's talk about the importance. So diasporas are a symbol of nation's pride and represent their countries internationally. So if you are a tourist in some other country, even then you are representing your country over there with your mannerism, how you carry yourself. You represent the culture, you represent the respect we give to the people and so on. So people who have shifted over there and intend to reside over there still are identified as Indians, right? People who have shifted over there are being identified by that native country's people as Indians. So if they are being considered Indians still, at least by their origin, they represent our country, right? They are the ambassadors of our country and its culture over there, which increases what? Our soft power. The diaspora's ability to spread Indian soft power, lobby for India's national interest and contribute economically to India's rise is now well recognized. One of the greatest economic contributions of Indian diaspora has been remittances. What is remittances? Remittances is the money the Indian people are sending back here in India, maybe for their families and for other purposes, right? So whatever they are earning over there, if they are sending it in India some way for donations, for family usage, it is called remittances. To mark the contribution of overseas Indian citizens community in the development of India, a day is being celebrated, that is pravasibharatiyadivas on 9th of January, and the importance of this particular day is such because of a particular reason which we shall be discussing in the upcoming slides. Now let's talk about Indian diaspora. So India has the largest diaspora population in the world. 18 million people of India are actually diaspora of India internationally. And if we talk about especially UAE and US and Saudi Arabia, they host the largest Indian diaspora from amongst other countries. And as per the UN's report of International Migration 2020 highlights, this number we have got. So this data is authentic one. India's large diaspora is distributed across UAE, US and Saudi Arabia, as I've told you. So in UAE, there are 3.5 million Indian people, while in USA, 2.7 million people, and Saudi Arabia has 2.5 million Indian people, either working or residing over there for various reasons. Other countries hosting large number of Indian migrants include Australia, Canada of course, Kuwait, Oman, Pakistan, Qatar and the United Kingdom. Also, China and Russia have spatially diffused diaspora from India. According to a World Bank report, India has received approximately $87 billion remittances in 2021, with USA being the biggest source of remittances to India. So the diaspora in US is sending the maximum remittances to India right now, accounting over 20% of $87 billion. Alright, so look at this picture. Here is India, and these dots are to actually mark the places. For example, here's Malaysia, Singapore, Sumatra, Java and so on. Many places have been marked with dots. The blue arrows, they are showing the migrations that happened in 20th century, that is in 1900s. However, the green ones are showing where all people migrated before that in the 19th and 20th century. So the blue ones are showing migration in the 20th century and the green ones are showing in the 19th century. In the 20th century, people have migrated towards USA, Canada and United Kingdom. And when it comes to the migration before that, it used to happen in Latin America, Southeast Asia and Africa. Alright, so what is India's policy towards its diaspora? India was initially concerned that advocating for overseas Indian citizens was actually insulting the host country, which should have the full responsibility for the welfare and security of these people. So according to Jawaharlal Nehru, he used to consider that once you have moved out of India, the country is not accountable, or the country's government is not accountable to you because you have chosen to move out. Right? So he said that the diaspora could not expect India to fight for their rights, and hence India's foreign policy in 1950 was built as a model of non-intervention for diaspora with any other country which they have moved to. However, this changed and got changed during Rajiv Gandhi's government. He was the first Prime Minister to alter the diaspora policy in 1980s by urging Indian living abroad, regardless of their nationality, to join the nation building efforts similar to the overseas Chinese community. Chinese community was already doing so for its country. And after 2000s, under the Atal Bihari Vajpayee government, a slew of positive measures were introduced, including separate ministry for overseas Indian affairs. So the person of Indian origin, PIO card, was also launched. Then pravasibharatiyadivas was there. Pravasibharatiya Samman Award was declared, and Overseas Citizen of India card, OCI card, was also started with. Apart from that, there was Nri Fund and voting rights were also given to Indian citizens living abroad. Now, who are these Indian citizens living abroad? Those who shall be having voting right. So, NRIs are such Indian citizens. Remember, voting right will be only for those people who still hold an Indian passport. And remember, India does not vouch for dual citizenship. That is prohibited, right? As soon as you accept the citizenship of any other country, your citizenship of India remains renounced. It is automatically suspended. So that's why any PIO or any OCI card holder cannot vote. It's the NRIs who can. So present regime has also carried forward the work of this policy of Atal Bihari Vajpayee in a positive direction. Additionally, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs has launched an e-migrate system in 2015, which requires all foreign employers to register with the database. Foreign employers, those who are hiring people from India, they have to register with the database of Ministry of Foreign Affairs, that is e-migrate system. That is the name of the database. Now let's understand the Parliamentary Committee report and what all it has recommended. So the panel was headed by P.P. Chaudhary, and it has said that there is a surprise and in fact a critical statement has been made regarding clear-cut policy on India's diaspora that is yet to be there even after the realization of the fact that India has the largest diaspora as compared to any other country in the world, right? So despite the huge diaspora and the very important role it plays in the socio-economic development of the country, there is no clear-cut diaspora policy that India has. So the committee has given, as I've told you earlier also, 55 recommendations to the Ministry of External Affairs. The important recommendations include: Ministry should bring out a policy document on diaspora to serve as a guiding principle for deeper and wider engagement with the diaspora. Concentrated efforts may be made to collate an authentic database of the Indian diaspora at ministry level and use it appropriately in preparing and implementing welfare scheme for diaspora community. Ministry must conduct in-depth study regarding data management system of the country which have large diaspora community at earliest and develop a module for migrant workers and overseas students within a specified time frame. So steps are required, but steps are required urgently, right? Because it's a wonder and a surprise that India is not really being as responsible as it should be towards its very precious diaspora. Other recommendations are: create a dedicated community welfare wing in missions. Missions are Indian offices abroad which are there to attend to the requirements and help the Indian diaspora over there. So officers are posted in the missions and posts, and there are Indian officers, Indian representatives of the government are there to help the community, Indian community over there, right? Create a roadmap for a strong and vibrant Indian diaspora. Creation of one-stop centers for helping distressed Indian women abroad. eSanad should be operationalized in all states and UTs of the country. So eSanad is a portal wherein electronic verification of documents can be done by people living abroad. Missions or posts should strive to really become a home away from home, as in they should make sure that the facilities that these people would have availed or the work, how they would have availed from the government, the services that the government provides, how it would have been for them if they were back at their home country. So such kind of a service should be provided, if not better, to those people even over there. They should not find any difficulty in actually taking advantage of any of the policies or schemes of the government that is meant for them. It should be facilitated for them. Various initiatives of the government for Indian diaspora, let's get into the details of that. So pravasibharatiyadivas, I have told you 9th of January it is celebrated on, and I have also told you that this day has been selected very thoughtfully. So actually Mahatma Gandhi, who was the greatest pravasi, greatest migrant from India to South Africa, he came back on 9th January 1915 to India, and that's why Pravasi Bharatiya Divas is celebrated on that particular day. Also, please note that the Pravasi Bharatiya Divas conventions are held once every 2 years and not every year. Apart from that, Vandebharathmission was run by the government of India, under which more than 45 lakh Indians were rescued during Corona times. And skilled workers arrival database for employment support, that is swades, is also an initiative for returning immigrants from the Gulf countries and other areas, so that their skills and talent pool can be utilized properly back in India itself, so that they could be hired using that database. Then globalpravasirishtaportal for better connectivity and communication with the Pravasi Bharatis. About education, NRI seats are reserved in all medical, engineering and other professional colleges. Other youth-centric outreach programs also include bharatkojano online quiz. And apart from that, there are many like No India program. And I've already talked to you about the voting rights. So the constitutional backing is given by the Representation of People's Amendment Bill 2017. So proxy voting, what they can do is they can actually register a person on their behalf who shall be voting on their behalf in the elections. Who can do it? NRIs can do it. Then there is minimum referral wages 2014. Easing the passport facility. So head post offices launched as passport centers, enabling 1,000 more to apply for passport, because otherwise the accessibility of passport offices was questionable in India, and converting head post offices into passport offices or passport centers has made it more accessible. So more and more people can easily apply for a passport. Then merger of Ministry of Overseas Indian Affairs with Ministry of External Affairs also is a big step. So India also allows visitors from 43 countries, including United States, Australia and Fiji, to receive visa on arrival. What is visa on arrival? So if you are not an Indian citizen, if you are an NRI, that is you are still an Indian citizen, you hold an Indian passport, you don't need visa to go to India back, or to come to India back rather I should say. If you are OCI or PIO, then you need visa because you are a citizen of some other country. In that case, your visa on arrival is there in India, means you book your ticket, come to India, and on the airport itself you shall be received and you shall be allotted a visa when you have arrived over here. This, however, this facility is presently only available for people coming in from United States, Australia and Fiji, replacing the previous process which took weeks. Otherwise, the visa application and granting process could take up to weeks. So the Overseas India Facilitation Center was set up by the Government of India in partnership with the Confederation of Indian Industry, CII, to facilitate economic engagement of overseas Indians with India. The government evacuated Indian diaspora in Yemen in 2015 through the operationrahat and from South Sudan through operation Sankatmochan. So basically, these examples tell us that Indian government is taking responsibility for Indian diaspora and is being really benevolent towards them. they are not running from their responsibility towards the diaspora, even though we still can't deny the fact that we do require a very clear-cut diaspora policy, so that whenever such a situation comes in, we don't have to start framing a step ahead, a way forward from scratch. We do know what procedure to follow in any particular situation whenever someone from amongst our diaspora requires the government services. So the government is emphasizing more on youth and has Know Your Country portals. Such schemes are being run. I've already told you. There is also Pravasi Kaushal Vikas Yojana, just like there is one for the country, targeting Indian youth seeking overseas employment. The Indian government is active on the social media, and the government provides quick response and solves the problems of the Indian diaspora through social media. In this case, especially late External Affairs Minister Mrs. Sushma Swaraj was very active on Twitter, and she used to deal with as small queries and as problem in visa. So she used to respond to even such queries. She was very active in the resolutions of any kind of a problem that Indian diaspora used to have in the foreign countries. So promotion of cultural ties with diaspora and aim to showcase Indian culture and new initiatives and development of modern India. There is a scholarship program for diaspora children launched in 2006-07 for children of overseas Indians, PIOs or NRIs, with the objective to make higher education in Indian universities or institutions accessible to diaspora children and promote India as a center for higher studies. Then there is Pravasi Tirth Darshan Yojana. In the year 2018-19 it was launched. The ministry has started a special Know India program in association with Indian Railway Catering and Tourism Corporation, that is IRCTC, for the persons of Indian origin in the age group of 45 to 60. So who can come for Pravasi Tirth Darshan? People from the age of 45 to 60, and they will be catered by the Indian Railways, IRCTC. Their trip would be planned under IRCTC. So through train they would be taken to different tirths of India, different holy religious places of India, and they will also be provided with the knowledge regarding the places on the way and the destination as well. India Center for Migration. It is a not-for-profit society under the Societies Registration Act 1860. In July 2008, it was registered. The center serves as a research think tank to the Ministry of External Affairs on all matters relating to international migration. So research is also going on so that we keep ourselves updated regarding what would be the requirement of Indian diaspora from time to time and serve them accordingly. So Indian Community Welfare Fund is also there, which was set up in 2009. It is aimed at assisting overseas Indian nationals in times of distress and emergency in most deserving cases on a means tested basis. As in means tested basis means the government would verify that whatever help has been asked for by a particular diaspora, a particular person, so it would be verified that the person does not have the means or resources to help through or to get through that particular situation, and then the funds would be allotted. Pravasibharatiyadivas Yojana. It is a mandatory insurance scheme for all emigration check required ECR category workers going to ECR countries. Now you need to check out what are ECR countries for yourself and put the information in the comment box below. Share it with others as well. Do these efforts for yourself. So pre-departure orientation training. Ministry has made robust efforts towards ensuing a safe, orderly, legal and humane migration process. This includes broad-based institutional framework for welfare and protection of migrant workers and awareness generation. So whenever workers or a batch of workers together is leaving for a particular country, it has been hired, what the ministry does under the pre-departure orientation training is before they land in that particular country, they have to undergo a training in which all the rules and regulation of that particular country is explained to the migrants. Their rights are made to be understood by them. All the services that would be available for them from the Indian government side over there in that country are made to be understood by them. Even they are made to be aware about the Indian missions, posts and embassies in that country, how to reach to them, how to contact them and connect with them. All these things they are made well aware of, because sometimes these workers are not really as much illiterate but skilled. Constructions workers could be migrating, or manual laborers sometimes, or with minimum skill, for example factory workers could be migrating. So these people who do not really know much about their own rights and the facilities available for them and are going to migrate, they need to be made aware to make sure that they remain safe and they know what to and where to go to when they need something, any kind of a help. So next is Vaibhav Summit. So Vaishviya Bharatiya Vaigyanik or Vaibhav Summit is an event to bring together residents and overseas scientists of India at a common platform to solve the current problems India is facing. So Vaibhav Summit is a conference of scientists of Indian origin from around the world, and they ponder over the fact various problems that India is facing. They ponder over solutions of it. So the Ministry of External Affairs is running a scheme since October 2008 known as Tracing the Roots to facilitate the persons of Indian origin in tracing their roots in India. So as I've told you already, PIOs or persons of Indian origin could be people who have migrated a long time back and now they are living in some other country generation on generation. They must have lost contact with their roots in India. So Ministry of External Affairs through Tracing the Root program actually help them trace their roots back in India. Those who want to do it can connect with Ministry of External Affairs and shall be duly helped to do the same. This was it about the Indian diaspora, all the information regarding the same. Anything that would have been required by you to understand and the information that would have been required by you as per the UPSC CSE's perspective, I have shared it with you. So all the schemes, all the initiatives that government is already running, all the instructions that have been given by the Parliamentary Committee, as in where the government is lagging, only those things will be given as instructions, right? So in those are the points where we understand that okay, here the government is lagging, so government has to do this. Remember, these instructions have been given by the Parliamentary Committee to the Ministry of External Affairs. And we have also understood about the Indian diaspora and the migration pattern broadly, right? Because bulk migration happened in this format. Now let's look at the prelims based practice question. Consider the following statements on pravasibharatiyadivas. Number 1, this convention is held every 2 years. Number 2, the 9th of January was chosen to commemorate the Pravasibharatiyadivas because it was on this day that Mahatma Gandhi returned from London after receiving his barrister degree. Your answer is A, that is one only. Now why so? So first statement is absolutely correct. I have also asked you to pay attention to this fact while I was telling this to you, that the convention is held every 2 years and not every year, right? And the date in the point number 2, the name of the person in the point number 2 are absolutely correct. So this fact that he came back from London is the wrong one here. Rather, he came back from South Africa and not from London, right? So this fact makes the second statement entirely wrong. That's why we have to eliminate all other options, and A would be our option. That is the correct answer. Now let's look at the mains practice question. Indian diaspora is India's asset in disguise. Elaborate with suitable examples. You need to answer this particular question in 250 words and send in your answers to us on WhatsApp to get them reviewed. This is it for today. I shall see you again tomorrow with another topic of hit series. Till then, take care, stay tuned. Thank you so much for joining in.